Hi, this is Christoph Aschwanden from Noble Master Games. I'm gonna show you how the map editor works. I reworked the map editor not too long ago, so it looks a little bit different than the old version. So that's the latest version. I'm gonna show you how it's all done. So you go into the map editor and create a new map. You select the file menu and new. Before you had to download some templates to get all started, but now the templates are all in the game. And what you do first is you select a bundle, like that's a configuration of the map that has the basic assets, the cities and stuff. I'm selecting the bundle config, that's the default. If you want to have some other configurations with Asian assets, you can select those as well. Let's go, and then it takes a few seconds before the map is created. So we get a template, that's the basic map that defines the image for all the scenarios that we're gonna define. And to select an image, you go to Setup, and here you browse a map image. You can create it yourself in an editor. I'm not gonna demo that. I'm just gonna use one image that we used before for one of our maps. Just basically to show how it's done. You can also set a mini map, that's the overview map if you want to have a different one from the base image, but you don't have to do it. And then you have also the option to define if it's a world map, that way it goes around. You can see, but for the map I chose the map of Europe, it doesn't go around, so we disable that. What we also select is the factions you want to have in the map. Those factions, nations are shared throughout all the scenarios. And for each scenario, you pick one of the nations you define here. You just define a few, or two, let's say, for testing. You can define more, and then for each scenario, you add the factions you want to use for a specific scenario. So let's see what we got. Let's maybe do a modern world scenario. Let's take, for example, America. Name of the people would be Americans and the adjective would be American. Those texts are used to generate all the message dialogue, so you should take care to make them, enter them correctly. Then we also need to select a flag icon. Where's the flag? That's a flag. That's for the troops. And you can optionally select a king icon, a crown. If you don't select anything, the default crown is chosen. And we can also give the nation a color. That's how the provinces are going to be colored. Take another one. Germany, Germans, and German. Let's see, where is Germany? And then also the flag icon. You can obviously create your own images if you want to have a fantasy nation in there. Let me see it, flag. And here we keep the red color. What you also could define is teams. I'm not going to do that. If you want to play in team games, 2 against 2 or so, you can do it the same way as you did the factions. You configure the names and the adjectives. Then here is a bunch of parameters you can edit. I would generally leave it as is. That's the default. You can also define background music. There's a little utility. Let's say you change the base map image and you add 200 pixels to the left. Now all the provinces that we create later won't align anymore. So you could actually offset all the content by, for example, 200 pixels. So they match again with your new map image that you, for example, changed up here. But I'm not going to demo that too. You can play around with yourself. Okay. So first we create some province, and I would say zoom in, and you wanna follow the outline of the province pretty closely so it looks good. Okay, that takes a while. See, all those maps we created took forever to get done because it's not as easy to take a nice outline or it's too small. Okay, the provinces also have to have a certain size to work. I'll just do it for demo. I create 2 provinces. Then maybe I can create a C province too. I know it's very ugly how I do it. Just do it better. Otherwise your map will be rejected if you just do it badly. Then next, you have the different elements of the province, like the city. You can move it around. That's where the battles are shown. That's where troops, that enemy troops or your troops that move in the province are gonna be placed. Here, that's where your own troops are shown, and here is, for example, a watchtower. And they shouldn't be too close together. You see the blinking line? They should be a little bit apart, so when you play the game, it's not all clustered next to each other. Pass, we go there later. Then we also need to connect the provinces. Let's say they're all both connected to the sea and connected to each other. What you also can do is when the troops move from one province to the next, you can edit the path they follow. That are those lines, and you can just click and move. What we also do between provinces, you select the border points. That's when a group of provinces belong to you. The border points between you and the other factions are all indicated. If both provinces belong to you, there are no border points shown. And you also see the border points now are an X, but they change to a different form depending if you're at war or at peace. And what you can also do is we can place some trees and mountains and stuff in the province. Or I think, yeah, it has to be in the province. And volcanoes and stuff. Then next, once we defined the base scenario, obviously we would do all, not just a few. You can also edit them. You can give each province a name. For example, here, London. Once that's done, you create a scenario. And you see the 2 provinces added here, plus the Water Sea province down there. And let's say I want to add some factions, because without factions you can't really play. So the factions that they defined before, they come now up in this list, and I just add them. You don't need to add all if you have 20 factions, but you just want to do a 1 against 1 scenario, you just select the 2 factions you want to have. And now they come up in this list. We give the left province to America and the right province to Germany. And we also edit the province. We can change the population, number of troops, and if there's a commander unit, you always have to give a commander unit per faction for the game to be valid, for the map to be valid. And you can also decide if you want to have a watchtower or make the province fortified. We do the same for Germany. And now at this stage, we're probably pretty late at it, we should maybe save the map too. Otherwise, if it's lost, you have to start all over. And this file, I would suggest you keep it in a nice place where it's safe and you can go back to it later. It contains all the map modding you did. So it's all contained in this one file and you can move it around. If you lose the file, if you uploaded the map, you can also download the latest version of your map and edit the latest version you download. It's the same map that you upload. But if you haven't uploaded it yet, that's your only copy. Now let's see, we verify the map. You have no map icon set. It's the red image over there. And we need to change it to something else. It's 80 times 80 pixels. And we need to create some map image. Normally, you would probably use some map like image editor and create some nice icon. For demo, I just take a screenshot of the map and create an image based on that. And yeah, instead of going to an example tool, the game has included an animator where you can create custom images. Let's do that now. So we create an icon in 80 x 80 pixel format. And before I copied it with print screen button, and now I paste it, and I can show a part of the map. So maybe make it smaller. Oops, maybe I have to change the position too. Oops, should be 200. Maybe I could use that for the map image. It's not very nice. I would probably suggest you create something nicer. Once that's done, you export the image as PNG. You could also animate it if you like, and then we would export it as film. But I'm just taking a static PNG image. Map icon. Exit the editor. And now I set my new map icon. I should maybe also create the title, Nobles map, a cool map. And here the version, as long as the version is 1.0, you can edit, add and remove provinces, but once you release the map, you can't do that anymore due to backwards compatibility. So as long as it's 0100, you can edit it. So if you upload the map, you just increment the version and upload the new version, and make sure you don't remove stuff, because previous games wouldn't work anymore. Okay, I leave it at 100. Let's verify the map again. Story. Need to get a story. This is cool. Give the scenario title. You can select scenario to be balanced. That means you can use it for rated multiplayer matches if you like. But it's only for those scenarios that actually balanced. No story for scenario. Nice scenario is missing. Where's the story? Oh yes. So here, you also need for each scenario, you need to set the story. You give a date. Let's give a date. War in Europe in 2249 AD. And you should maybe write some nice text that explains what the storyline is of your game. Let's see if I have something else missing. So that's basically all. So obviously that's not a nice map you want to release, but that's just a demo how you would get started. You can also test the map. So here you see the border points. I can declare war. And now those border points change to a minus. And we can attack the other player. Yeah, we lost, but it doesn't matter. So let's go back. So that's basically your map. It's done unless, it would be done if you did all the provinces, made it really nice, filled out all the stories. You can also duplicate the scenarios or create new scenarios based on the base template in here. So now that's done, you probably want to upload the map for other players to play. So you go to File and select the Upload button. And there you see, you need to create 1 or 3, from 1 to 3 screenshots of the map. I didn't do that yet, so let's do that quickly. Maybe I just go to this screen. I do another print screen. Open it. And then I open the animator again and I create a new screenshot for the map. As I said, you can use other tools. You don't need to use the in-game editor. It's maybe easier if you use the other tools. But for demo purposes, that's some in-game editor. You can also download this editor standalone. You don't need the game, it's free. And you can also create animations. I probably wouldn't create animations for the screenshot, but you could if you wanted to. Here again, we export it as PNG. Screenshot 1. Go back. And then you upload the map. You select the screenshot that you selected before. Upload. Takes a few seconds. And now the map will be reviewed. If it's good quality and otherwise nice, it will be accepted. If you use copyrighted assets or have inappropriate language in there, you get a message to fix it and upload it again. And that's basically it. That's how you do basic map modding in Age of Conquest. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. And thanks for watching.